So, Dr. John and Julie Gottman, they are the most prominent researchers on the topic of love and relationships. And their research has found that couples who are happy, you know why they're happy? They know how to have fun together. Well, that extends to all relationships, particularly with your family. I know that the second that you walk into mom or dad's house, you feel like you're 8 years old again. I know the second that you're around your family, even though you love your brothers and sisters, there's the golden child, there's the middle child, there's the favorite. You fall right back into the old roles. Well, here's the thing about fun. Fun lessens the stress. Fun helps you sleep better. Fun makes you happier. It makes you smarter, and it strengthens your relationships when you're having fun with other people. And you know that this is true. And look, you aren't the only one. Here's how sad the topic of fun is. Researchers have a word to describe the fact that you and I are not having as much fun as we should. You want to hear the words? It's pretty sad. Researchers say that you and I are living in a fun drought. I mean, my mouth is not just dry. Apparently, my whole life is dry. 97% of us, according to the research, and that includes you and me, wish we had more fun. 60% of adults believe that their life is just way too grown up. I know I feel that way. Don't you wish you could go into a time machine and sit back at the kids' table again and be elbowing your cousins and laughing at all the adults? Well, that brings me to the next piece of research. 73% of us miss aspects of our childhood, like birthday parties or family celebrations. Let's just talk about your own family for a second. Forget about what your relationship is like right now. I want you to think back through time. What are the best memories that you have with your family? I guarantee you, what popped right into your mind were the fun times. When I think about my family, the Schneebergers, you know what I think about? I think about game night. I think about the fact that we love playing euchre and backgammon, and we always divide up into teams. And my mom and I are a great team because we love to smack talk, and then it's like the ladies against the guys. And we will play cards for hours, cribbage, euchre. I just love those nights. And we laugh and we're competitive. Or I can think of like another memory that comes to mind for me is wiffle ball. When my little nephews were tiny, they're twins and they're 14 now and they're taller than I am. Well, I'd get out there when they were little and I would always have to drop out of the wiffle ball game because I haven't had my bladder surgery yet. And then everybody would laugh about how Aunt Mel just peed herself, ha 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 ha. And they'd try to make me laugh, so I would pee myself. Or when we go visit my parents, my dad always rents a pontoon boat, and not just any pontoon boat. There is only one place on Muskegon Lake where you can rent a pontoon boat. This pontoon boat is like 30 years old. We have rented the same thing every year that we go back and visit. And this thing's like chugga, 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 chugga. And the last summer when we were back there that we rented it, it died in the middle of the lake. Honest to God. But it was a blast. You know, we laughed and laughed and laughed, and my dad had to wave down a boat and get a ride. It was a whole thing. But we always have fun. And I guarantee you, when I go back this summer, it'll be that same 31-year-old pontoon boat, and we'll all wonder if it will actually be able to have enough horsepower to do tubing. Now, on Chris's side of the family, when I think about memories there, it's always fun stuff too. Like how excited all 9 cousins were when they get together. And they would spend hours and hours and hours, particularly in the winter, building jumps on this huge hill that we live on. And then they would sled on it. And honestly, the last time they all did that, it's kind of sad. I bet it was about 15 years ago. Or another memory, we had this epic lip sync battle one Thanksgiving where all of not only Chris's family got together, but all of his cousins came too. And it was every family was a band. It was this incredible battle. Absolutely amazing. Do you know when that was? 13 years ago. So it begs the question, if you always remember the fun times, why aren't we having fun anymore? So here's what we're going to do. You and me, we're bringing the fun. And rule number 1, stop focusing on all the logistics. Focus on the laughter. I'm not kidding about this. I want you to weave laughter into the logistics. If you did the work ahead of time to plan for fun and to make sure it's fun, it will be fun. And, when I say don't just focus on the logistics, also focus on the laughter, I want to tell you a quick story. So we're hosting Thanksgiving this year, and my husband, thank God, is handling the logistics. And so he put together an email and he, assigned all the things out that everybody was doing. And yeah, bring the dogs and, bring a bathing suit and ba ba da ba da ba da ba. And everybody replies back, excited to see you. And we're so excited to get together. And so now as the emails are starting to fly, I'm starting to feel excited. But everybody's just kind of commenting on the logistics. We'll be there Thursday. We'll be there Wednesday night. We're going to bring the dog. Blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, our son Oakley replies. And he replies in all caps, "People, we are going to destroy this feast!" Exclamation point. And I just laughed out loud. That could be you. Why not reply to the family logistics text chain with a hilarious GIF of somebody dancing with a turkey? Why not put in a hilarious photo of somebody in the family? Why not bring the fun? So don't just focus on the logistics. Make sure you focus on the laughter too. Now, let's talk about step 2. How do you stop falling into the, fun will just happen spontaneity category, and you fall into the, I'm going to make this fun thing happen category? Well, let's look at the research. People who are happy do things that make them happy. That's one of those studies where I'm like, yeah, duh. But then you're like, oh, no wonder I'm not happy. I'm not doing anything or prioritizing happiness. They work at things that make them happy. And it makes sense because when you try things that make you happier, you're a happier person. Well, guess what? The exact same research relates to fun. It's seriously so obvious, it's kind of stupid. But let's have some fun with it, right? Let's not be embarrassed. Your life becomes fun when you plan things that are fun to you. Or even when normal things. You just bring a fun attitude like our son did to the email chain. All caps, exclamation, let's go, people. And on that note, I want to share a story with you about the power of bringing the fun, okay? Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Thankfully, we have somebody in our family who's incredible at this. Our oldest daughter, Sawyer, who's 23 years old, this woman always brings the fun. I mean, she is always doing something really fun with her friends. I can give you a few examples. There was one year where she and her friends were out in Breckenridge, Colorado, and I was looking at the photos online, and they were out at bars in these colonial costumes, literally, like think Holly Hobby, bonnets, prairie dress, apron. They had gone on a bar crawl in costume, like looking like women from a colonial era, like Little House on the Prairie. It was such a riot that people all over Breckenridge were stopping them. They were featured on the Breckenridge Facebook page. People were taking photos with them. I mean, talk about bringing the fun. That's hilarious. I mean, I'd never think to order costumes and go on a themed bar crawl. Who does that? Well, apparently people who have fun do that. Another thing that she did recently is we had all of her college friends from Boston College up with their moms for a big mother-daughter weekend. And when we found out that one of the moms, who was a widow, had just gotten engaged to her boyfriend, Sawyer turned to me and said, let's throw a wedding. I'm like, throw a wedding? She's like, yeah, we're going to throw a wedding. And sure enough, impromptu, they made a sash for the mom. We made a veil out of a paper towel, like a long thing of paper towel, and flowers out of like foil. And then we blew bubbles, and we had her daughter, who was wearing this huge foam hat, walk her down the aisle in our living room. And then Sawyer it was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Why? She brought the fun. When she heard something, she leaned into it, and we just improv. It was just amazing. And she also did this repeatedly during quarantine. So quarantine was actually a really awesome time for our family once we got over the grieving and we settled into the routine of being together, because our kids brought the fun. Sawyer went through and made an entire chart for the month of March, and she came up with theme nights every other night. There was a family Olympics night. There was a bake-off where we divided up into teams, and we had to bake desserts, and we also had to dress up as chefs. I mean, it was super fun. But the most fun night was a night that I had never heard of. This is a theme you should steal. I love this. It's an anything but clothes dinner. And what does that mean? I didn't know either. It means you have dinner with your family wearing anything but clothes. You're not supposed to go nude. You are supposed to wear something other than clothes. So Sawyer, for example, took 2 huge king-size pillows and duct taped them all around her. So she put one in the front, one in the back, and then duct taped it. So that was her clothes or her outfit. I can't remember what Oakley wore, and I can't remember what Kendall wore, oddly enough. But I took a champagne bottle box and I put it across my chest. And the way that I fastened it to me is I poked holes in the top of it, and then I put a ribbon around it and hung it like a necklace, and then put duct tape on the sides so it stayed in place. And then I made a pair of pants out of brown grocery store garbage bags, like 1 bag per leg, and then taped the front together. Now, Chris's outfit was something. Chris took a rubber pot lid. So, you know how you have like a metal pot lid? Well, somebody gave us once these like kind of rubber lids that you can put on top of dishes like in the summer so that flies can't get them, and it had like a little knob on it. He hung this thing across the front of him in front of his private parts. And that's all he wore, except for a pair of clogs and socks. I mean, when he came down the stairs, I almost had a heart attack. He had basically a pot lid across the front of him with a ribbon around his waist and clogs on. I'll tell you, we have laughed about that moment forever. And every time, we get into a fight, Chris threatens to wear that to the rehearsal dinner for one of our kids' weddings. What you're going to learn is that it's not that hard. It only takes one additional person to cause a major shift with you and have the fun be what everybody remembers. That's what we're going to do this holiday season. In fact, this is called the first follower theory. When you're the one person doing something out of the ordinary, people think you're crazy. Like, think about if you were to go in at the holidays and you're wearing some silly outfit. One of my favorite things to do is to buy themed blazers. You can get them really cheap on Amazon that are just ridiculous. Whether they have turkeys all over them or they have holiday decorations or they blink or whatever. Hilarious. If you're the only one wearing one, you might feel like an idiot. When 2 of you show up, now there's a party. That first follower that joins in with you turns you from you're an idiot to this looks like fun. Same's true about a dance floor, right? The first person that gets up, you're like, ooh, bad dance move. The second one, you're like, maybe I'll go, right? That's how you go from being the lone nut job to being the leader of the fun train, everybody. That's how fun becomes a movement. And so I'm going to take the first follower theory and I'm going to recruit someone to help me. And I want you to do the same. I am going to get our daughter Sawyer on the line because she is the CFO, the Chief Fun Officer of the Robbins family. And so as I get Sawyer on the line, I want you to think of your Chief Fun Officer, the person you're going to drag in to help you. Because if you both are like, come on, guys, everyone will be like, all right. And the fun bus will run the resignation and the cynicism right on over and make sure that fun bus has a damn good music dance party mix too, because that'll also bring the energy up. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we'll be right back because we're going to take a short break. But when we come back, I'm going to introduce you to the CFO, Chief Fun Officer of our family, Miss Sawyer Robbins. Oh, and we're going to talk about how the hell we're going to make our holidays fun. And in the process, we're going to give you some amazing ideas for how you can do the same. Okay, so Soy, thank you for being here because you know what? You are the funniest person in our family. Not only because you have the best sense of humor and you have the wittiest and driest sense of humor, but you also bring the fun. And you make our family so much better because of it. And I just love that about you.
Thank you.
I mean, literally, dude, everything. I mean, the foam hats, your idea. Dinner without clothing, your idea. A bar crawl in colonial costumes? Your idea. Throwing a fake wedding? Your idea. How the heck did you become so fun?
That is a tough question. Honestly, I feel like first off, I'm just very outgoing and obnoxious. So I think that that kind of plays a role into it. But I think that I have been fortunate enough to be a part of friend groups where all we want to do is have fun and do things that are out of the ordinary. And I don't know, you can always just go to a bar, but it's more fun to dress up as like old women to go there. To just go alone. That's what I was for Halloween. I was a granny.
Can you please describe your costume to everybody? Because I think it's one of the best costumes I've ever seen.
Um, I wore a wig and I got glasses and pearls and I got a cane and I was wearing like a sweater. I don't know. And I looked on probably 15 YouTube tutorials of how to make your makeup look like old women. And so I had like wrinkles all over me and a big mole. So, yeah.
Oh, and you know what other detail I loved?
What?
You had on like New Balance geriatric sneakers, and
Oh, yeah, that.
you had a COVID mask hanging from one of those eyeglass things. I mean, the attention to detail. And that's why I wanted to talk to you, because this is the first year that our family is hosting Thanksgiving at Ground Zero for Thanksgiving, which is the Southern Vermont House.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there are traditions that used to go with the Southern Vermont house when your grandparents owned the house. And now that we are the owners of the house, and this is the first Thanksgiving that we're inviting the extended family to come, that we should probably get really intentional about mixing up the traditions and inserting a lot more fun.
Mm-hmm. That sounds great, honestly.
Why? Do you think that that holidays are normally not that fun?
No, I think they're fun. I love holidays. If I could, I would just have Christmas all year long. But the fact that Thanksgiving is always a good time in when politics are not talked about or money or people's like life. I don't know. I feel like all we talk about is the boring stuff and what everyone does for work. And then Uncle Tom does his accents and everyone laughs and we have the exact same memories told over and over again. And then we go to bed. So I don't know. I'm down for some more fun this year for sure.
I agree. So, can you give me some ideas? Because you're a way more creative thinker than I am. And I remember when we were quarantining, you came up with a chart of themed evenings that we were going to do as a family in order to mix up the doldrum and to create things to look forward to. I am so excited for today. I came running up the stairs above the garage here in our studio in Vermont. And boy, oh boy, do I have a story to tell. Not only you, but I'm sitting here with my friends and colleagues, Amy and Jesse. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. So I think we're going to call this a jump on a mic kind of episode because this is going to be super random, but I promise you there's a point to it. I have a freaking hilarious story to tell you guys.
I can't wait.
It involves a wardrobe failure.
Yes.
That is super embarrassing and really, really funny. You ready for it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, I have a question for everybody. Is there any better feeling than taking your bra off at the end of the day?
No. Period.
That's a let loose feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
How would you describe that? Like you literally reach back, unhook.
Yeah. It's like, do you ever get like the itchy, like, ooh, you just want to rub underneath? Like you just want to Just a little shake.
Shake them loose?
Yeah.
Well, mine sort of fall like pancakes flat against
Gravity
me,
doesn't
so-
help, but
Yes, yes.
it's a good feeling.
It's like, it just is like a giant.
Yeah.
And you know what I wonder? Do dudes have a, like, do they have like a let loose moment?
They might always be loose.
No, seriously, it's a serious question.
Yeah.
Is there a moment for a guy that feels as freeing as unhooking your bra?
I think, like, you think about a guy in traditional sense back in the 50s, coming home from work, walk through the door, first thing he does, loosen up his tie.
That is not, I don't think.
What
is
about
good.
a belt?
No?
A belt? I would say if the belt is quite tight and it's holding a lot in, that would probably be like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Maybe a cup after a sports game. But that's not like an everyday thing.
No.
You know, I was thinking about Chris. I have to ask Chris about this. In fact, I'll text him. We'll see if he can come up here. Did you wear shapewear at your wedding, Jesse?
I did not wear shapewear
Why?
at my wedding.
Isn't that when everybody does?
It's your wedding night. You gotta have some quick, easy access after that night's wrapped. We can't be scrambling to get that off.
Oh,
It's one thing to get the dress
my
off, but
God.
then like that's gonna be super glued after a night. No way.
That's true. It's like this beige sausage casing that you're going to roll
There
off.
was boob tape, but that's fine.
Hey, baby.
Hi.
Chris.
All right, so we got a question for you.
Okay. Mike, please. Okay. What's up?
Okay, so we got a question for you. There is almost no better feeling for a woman than to take her bra off at the end of the day or to take off one of those Spanx, Skims, shapewear things. What is the equivalent for a dude?
Of removing a piece of apparel?
Just freedom. Like you just are like, oh.
Well, I didn't play a lot of football, but I would imagine removing a jock strap would be a little bit like that.
Yep.
You know, if you wear a pair of tight, like skin tight exercise shorts
Yep.
for many hours,
Yep.
I think that would be like pulling off Spanx for a guy as far as like releasing the tension from your skin, if that's what you're talking about, or some discomfort, or is that right?
I guess. It
Or
doesn't
you-
sound that compelling. What about your bike shorts? So you've been out for a 70-mile ride. You're wearing a pair of padded bike shorts. You're,
My
know.
crotch is
Yes.
like on fire.
Yes.
and
Yes. When you
yeah.
roll that off like a pair of pantyhose, what does
My
that feel
bum-
like?
My balls hurt. The
Yes.
whole deal.
Yes.
Yeah, that feels pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. But you know, the amount of sort of abuse that my nuts are taking in the saddle on a bike ride is very different than your breasts over the course of a day, right?
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
What do you think she does all day
I don't know.
with her breasts?
Well, there's some feeling associated with removing the brassiere. That
Yeah, well, I just figured your balls, or your doodle dads that you call them sometimes, that they just kind of drop a little, and that feels very freeing.
Yeah, like I said, no different than, well, I guess for you wearing Spanx, there's nothing dropping, right? It's just, but yeah, that's a good feeling.
What did you think about those Skims that I bought, the bodysuits?
They look good. It looks kind of uncomfortable to me. I mean, it looks kind of a little tight. I'm not sure I would go with that, even though I could use that on my little rubber tummy.
Your rubber tummy. You're very cute. All right. That's all we needed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We love you. Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Robbins.
Thanks for representing.
Yes. Awesome. And I would love to know, for you listening, is there something that we're missing here that you feel is that moment of it's just like, ah, at the end of the day? You guys are so creative and very sort of interesting in your insights about these things. And so I guarantee you we're missing a couple. So I can't wait to hear what you write in about. But the reason why I'm telling you this story is because yesterday I experienced a moment of body freedom that was, I would say, maybe 25 times more liberating than taking a bra off at the end of the day.
25
Whoa.
times?
Body
Yes.
freedom.
Yes. It also involves a major wardrobe failure.
Ooh.
So let me tell you the story, okay? And as
Yeah.
I tell you the story, I would love for you to think about some wardrobe failure that maybe you've had.
Oh.
Because these seem to happen to me all the time. I don't know what it is, but so here's what happened. So my daughters have recently introduced me to shapewear. I'm a huge fan of Sarah Blakely. No, that's not her name.
Yeah.
No, that's the famous actress. Blakely?
Blake Lively?
Blake Lively. Who am I thinking of? Sarah Blakely.
Sarah Blakely.
Sarah Blakely.
Yeah.
Okay, I immediately had a
Yeah.
panic that I was saying her name wrong.
Yeah.
So Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, we have
Yeah.
spoken at a bunch of events together. She is a rock star. I love her story. I love, but I've never been, sorry, Sarah, a huge fan of shapewear. And one of the reasons why is because when Spanx first came out, and this is not like a slam on Spanx, but when they first came out and I bought a high-waisted pair of bike shorts, they give me gas. I don't know if that's like a new, I don't know if that's me, but I felt like the compression was so compressed, or maybe I bought the wrong size, that I felt gassy and crampy all day wearing shapewear. And
no.
also, I bought these bike shorts because I was wearing a pair of trousers and I did not want the bike shorts to show. I mean, I didn't want my underwear lines to show,
Yeah.
but I could see the bike short line
Right.
in my pants. So
Like
I
above
thought-
your knee.
Yeah, so I thought, okay,
Yeah.
I'm getting gas. I have cramps. It's sort of like the same thing as when you wear really high-waisted pants
Yeah.
and you sit down and it's like a tournament on your stomach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just cuts at the wrong
Yes.
spot.
Yeah.
So I probably just bought the wrong style and wore it with the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So I have not worn shapewear. Do you guys wear shapewear?
I did.
I have. Yeah.
And then we moved to Vermont. You don't need it up here.
That's true.
Yeah.
You really
Don't
don't.
let everything go.
No.
Yeah, just let it all hang out.
No, I still have it. I can almost guarantee you that if I were to bring it in and show it to you, and you were to take the waistband and just kind of like flex it a little bit, it would probably disintegrate because I just
Yeah.
Haven't
never
worn
wear
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have so
It's
many
ancient.
friends that swear by the Spanx jeans, that swear by, and the product's fantastic. So Sarah, we love you.
Yeah.
You're incredible. So here's what happened. My daughter Kendall was up, and I asked her if she would help me go through my closet because I am trying to get rid of clothes that don't fit because I'm now in the middle of menopause, so I feel like a Twinkie on legs. And I realize I look very lean, but when your middle expands, your pants don't fit.
Right.
Plain and simple. And so I was trying on clothes, and my daughter came to this conclusion that the reason why I hate my clothes is because I have no shapewear and I have saggy bras.
So she's saying shapewear is essential
Yes.
to
Yes.
enjoying the way
Really?
you look
Yes.
in clothes.
Yes. And so
Wow.
she
This
pulled
is
up the
news.
internet and she went to
Pulled up the
she went to Skims, which is Kim Kardashian's line. And you know, if anybody other than Sarah Blakely is going to make shapewear, Kim Kardashian seems
Yeah.
like the perfect person to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we ordered a bunch of stuff. So it arrives, it comes in this box. I pull this stuff out. I kid you not. The tank top bodysuit looks so small. It looks like Barbie clothing. That's how small it is. I pull it out. I'm like, this is not going to fit me.
How's
Did
that
you order
going?
the children's size? She's like, Mom, this is perfect. This is exactly how it looks. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can't fit my body in this. And so she coaches me through getting it on. And basically you stretch it like, you know, to kind of loosen it up a little
Like a
bit. or at
balloon
least-
before you're
yeah,
gonna throw
or at
it
least
up.
I had to.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I stepped into it and you sort of like yank it up on your body. And it's a lot like pulling sausage casing up over your body. Very thin, stretches out. I put it on. She ordered me the thong. Okay, which I probably would not have done, but I got to give props to Kim Kardashian because the thong was not a string. It actually was like a landing strip. There was enough there so it was not going to go right up my rear end. And so I put it on and I looked in the mirror and I'm like, dang, this looks pretty damn good.
Oh my God.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So here's the mistake I made. I tried it on. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
And then I took it off and went on with my life. I didn't walk around in it.
Oh,
I didn't sit down in it. I didn't test it for real life.
you have to test drive your underwear.
That is
After a
true,
certain age.
actually.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
I did not know this.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I didn't either.
fast forward to my wardrobe fail. Here's the story. Oh my God. So I was in Boston because I was invited by a friend to go to this fundraiser at the Institute of Contemporary Art that was celebrating women artists. And I was so excited to go. And the Institute of Contemporary Art, if you're going to a luncheon there, which I have never done, I thought, okay, this is going to be a cool group of people. And a really cool group of women. So I
Yes.
gotta put on like a really cool I'm into art outfit.
Oh, I'm into art.
Yes. So I pull out a pair of black pants that I have not worn in probably 8 years.
Now's the
they're-
day.
Now's the day.
Yeah.
Now's the day.
Yeah.
And they're very like stretchy fabric, and they were the kind of pants that I wore when I had to go into corporate settings. So really nicely tailored. You can see everything in the rear end. So I'm like, this would be a great moment to wear my bodysuit. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I've also pulled out a sweater that is a ribbed sweater, so it's tight, right? And the sweater is the boldest colors. So I'm going for like the pop art look.
Right.
I've got on black
Nice.
pants, I got on black heeled boots, and I've got on this tight ribbed sweater that is bold stripes.
Yeah.
I'm talking Where's Waldo. I look like human caution tape. It is white, and then it is yellow, and then it is brown, and then it is black. I'm like
It's
a
like a
bumblebee kind of.
Love it.
Yes.
That's a good art
You're making
outfit.
a statement.
Yes.
Yeah.
I looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the shapewear pulled it all in. I'm like, this is great. I look like I support art. I look really cool, but not pretentious. I got like the pop thing going.
Wow.
The color is all springy.
Yes.
And so I get in the car. Things are really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to great music. Things are really good. I get downtown to Boston. Things are really good. I find a parking space in a parking garage a couple blocks away from the ICA. Things are really good. I get out of the car, and going from sitting to standing up sort of made the bodysuit go from really good to not so great. Because that thong started to turn into a wedgie.
Oh no.
Now, I get out of the car and I try to reach back and pull it down a little while I'm in the parking garage, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't
do
get a
it.
grip.
That's a two-hand job.
Yes, but I don't know that, right? And plus the thing is starting in about 5 minutes, so I gotta go. So I stick my hand down the back of my pants and try to just like move it
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
a little.
Yeah.
And that works. I'm embarrassed to tell you this.
Don't
Okay.
be.
What do you think I did next?
Did you wash your hands?
No, I smelled it.
I knew you were gonna say that.
No.
It did not smell bad. And I'm like, okay, whew. Okay. So, wouldn't you have smelled your hand?
Yes. Let me tell you something.
What?
Yes, but why? Why are we doing this? Why are we smelling
Why
our
would you
hands?
Because
smell your
I am
hand?
about to walk into an event where I'm going to see my friends.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give them a hug if I have poop hands.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Not like actual poop,
No.
but I don't want my hand to smell like that.
Yeah.
I can't say I've ever smelled someone's hand, though.
I know, but I just felt like if
But
it
if it-
smelled bad, like there's something like
Oh,
not cool.
really?
About
There
hugging
would
somebody.
be-
I am
Or
outnumbered on
what if
this.
what if somebody that I don't know is standing next to one of my friends and I hug my friend and I keep my hand off of my friend, but then somebody goes, "It's nice to meet you," and they extend your hand.
Well, it's on you for not putting some hand sanitizer on those hands.
I don't have hand sanitizer in my car. So
I
I,
don't know
just
what-
wanted
what
to
plan B is
clear,
on that.
like I wanted to have a clear
Yeah.
conscience
Yeah.
walking into this.
Yeah.
place.
It's like checking your breath.
yes, yes.
Check your like. Just
Oh, that's
do that.
so
Yeah.
funny.
I
It's
get it.
relatable. You
It
get
is
it.
relatable.
I think it's actually a very conscientious thing to do
yes,
for other
it
people.
is true. It is true.
Okay.
It's conscientious.
I'll start doing it.
But also, a lot of people wouldn't admit that. So props to you for just telling all the details of the story.
You know,
getting into
That's what
all
I'm
of
here
it.
for.
Yes. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I'm good. I have 5 minutes to get 2 city blocks to an event that's about to begin.
Yeah.
And so I start to walk. And I'm what's it called? Forward ambulation. That's what the neuroscientists call it. I'm forward ambulating as I walk. And as I'm walking, and I'm walking like I'm late because I'm
Yeah.
about to be late, I'm realizing I have a very long torso. Because as I'm walking, this freaking bodysuit is starting to slowly inch up. And the bodysuit is starting to give me a simultaneous wedgie in the front and the back, which basically means I had both a camel toe and a piece of floss that was starting to go up and up and up like a hammock from the front to the back. And so now I can't stride it out because I'm going to split myself in half. And so now I'm shuffling as fast as I possibly can because I don't want a big stride. And I walk shuffle into the ICA, and there is my friend. And I walk right up to her and I give her a big hug and I whisper in her ear, I've got a giant wedgie in my bodysuit. I've got to find but where's the bathroom? She's like, oh my God, that's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
She's like, points to the thing and she goes, I'll save you a seat, okay? And so I'm like, oh my God, I love you. Don't you love friends like that?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, so I shuffle to the bathroom. This thing is so far up me that I drop my pants to the floor. And to your point, Jesse, this is a two-hand
We've
maneuver.
all been there. Yeah.
Yes. I have to grab both sides.
Front and back.
Oh, I didn't start there.
Oh, you started on your
Oh.
side?
I started on the side.
Interesting.
You know,
move.
I think that's a
I
gentler
needed
approach.
some slack.
Yeah.
I needed to create some
Because
slack
it's
and
as
some
if
extra.
This bodysuit showed itself to you as a Barbie outfit. You got it to expand.
Yes.
It was like the pumpkin turned into a carriage. And then all of the sudden it snaps back to Barbie suit for you.
Yes.
Like at the wrong
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like, and so right back to the pumpkin, and you haven't even gotten to the dance yet. And you're like, this is a
Yeah.
difficult situation.
Oh
so
my
I
God.
get
You're in,
the
like-
sides thing. You need the slack.
Yes.
I think that was a good strategy.
Yeah, I'm like,
Mel.
like
Yeah. Oh, you did
Huff
a
it
hard
down.
pull down.
Yes,
hard
because
pull
I
down.
wanted a couple inches.
Yes. Okay.
And plus, this thing had basically like rolled up almost like a string, right?
Oh,
Because it was so stretched
Yes.
that I have to flatten the landing strip back out so it doesn't do it again.
I just want to tell you, my heart is racing for this story. Like, I'm really feeling this. Like, I'm a little bit starting to sweat, and I'm feeling myself like
Yeah.
really. It's
'Cause when
very relatable.
But,
Yes.
you know, here's the thing, and I have to give myself props. The old me would have just been like embarrassed and like, why can't you do that? And I just was like, this is the crazy. I was laughing at myself. And I think
Good.
that's
Yes.
so important in life, to be able to whisper in your friend's ear that you got a wedgie, to be able to laugh at yourself as you're in a bathroom in like what you think is the best art forward outfit that you've ever put on, in a brand new bodysuit that you've
Yeah.
never tested, like in
Yeah.
a real life situation.
Yeah.
I am yanking it down on the sides to give me a couple extra inches so that I can straighten out the middle and get it repositioned in place. Unsnapping it was not an option, because what happens when you unsnap a bodysuit?
Oh, the snaps hit your teeth. It goes.
Yeah,
up so
basically
far.
rolls up like
Yeah.
a window shade.
Oh.
And plus this thing, like, I was afraid if I unsnap it, it's going to hang out the front and the back. And God knows it's now got stuff on it because I don't have underwear on. And I'm like, this is a disaster.
It has been up there. Yeah. You
Yes.
don't know. You don't know.
Yes. And so I get it all positioned. And the problem is that now as I'm pulling it down, it's pulling off my boobs.
Oh no.
Like, it's not on your boobs anymore.
No. And so
'Cause
I
that
have
long
a
torso.
look.
Oh.
Yes, I have a long torso.
Oh, yeah.
So I now look like, what is it, the Heineken or the St. Pauli girl? only
St.
with
Pauli
no
girl
shirt
with
on.
it. Yeah.
Think of
yeah.
the
And I've got a
Borat,
rib
too.
sweater, so you can see the nipples and everything else. So I'm like yanking this thing
Oh, what
to
a
try to
mess.
stretch it out. I finally, it didn't even occur to me. I could have just taken it off and been nude. It didn't even occur to me.
It wouldn't have occurred to me
Yeah.
either. You don't want to be that
You're an
person
art
at the
studio.
art
They-
studio.
yeah, they wouldn't care.
You don't want to be that person.
So I get it all positioned. I, of course, wash my hands.
Good.
Yep, wash my
everyone
hands.
can exhale now.
Yep, yep.
Yes.
And I go back to the luncheon. And
What's your attitude? Like, I've got this, or are you like,
Oh, I
a
of
little
course
worried?
told a bunch of people because like I think it's hilarious and I think everybody can relate to it.
I think
But
everybody can relate. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of times people look at you and they're like, wow, she doesn't give her shit. She's got her act together. What a badass. I think that's true. And then I have to give it to you, Mel. You take it up a notch. Not only do you not give a shit, but you make fun of yourself. You
Yeah.
let everybody in on the joke.
You'll tell people.
I am
Yeah.
the joke.
Guess what?
Like
You
it's
are the
like it
joke.
is the joke, but it's a relatable
Yeah.
joke. And I
Yes.
think it's
Yeah.
an interesting point that you just made about the kind of distinction between not giving a shit versus being able to laugh at yourself because
Yeah.
they are related, but it's a different thing. And I think both are really important. The not giving a shit part is the ability to whisper in your friend's ear
Yeah.
that you have a wedgie right now
Mhm.
and to tell people the disaster just happened in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right. And that is one layer that I think is really important. And the second thing, though, which has been very freeing for me, is just like loosening the grip and being able to laugh at these moments.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because humor, we've done a lot of research on humor because of speeches that I've given or other projects that we've done for Audible. And there's so much research about having a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And how when you have a sense of humor, the research is kind of bananas. In fact, why don't we take a break? And this is a great time to allow our sponsors to entertain you for a second. And let's dig into the research real quick while you guys are listening to a commercial, because I think it's important to explain that humor is actually a really important skill and asset in life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And if I recall correctly, it's like it makes other people think you're intelligent. They trust you more. It exudes confidence.
Yeah.
And in the workplace, and I realized this was not in the workplace. I mean, it was like a professional event.
Yeah, but it was professional
Yeah.
though.
Yes.
It wasn't
You were
like you were
dressed
sitting
up.
on the
Yeah.
couch with
Yeah.
your girlfriends.
But there's all this research about leadership and
Yeah.
teams when it comes to having a sense of humor. Now, I would not tell your boss you had a thong wedgie up your ass. I would not do that.
yeah.
But I think there's a lot here to unpack. And by the way, I'm not done with the story.
Oh,
Oh my
God.
God, there's more.
There's a lot more.
All right.
And I'll tell you all of it when we come back.
Okay.
Welcome back. It's your friend Mel, and I'm here with my colleagues and friends, Amy and Jesse, in our studios. And we're doing a jump on the mic episode, which basically means I rolled in here hot with a story to tell, and now we're making something of it. But I was just talking about this massive shapewear wardrobe malfunction. And
Where were we?
so here we are, and then we got to get to the humor thing, because I think that's the big takeaway here.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Laugh at yourself. You have to be able to laugh at yourself. Because honestly, the second you start laughing at a situation, this is the most ridiculous thing I've gotten myself into. Why do you always do this to yourself, Mel? Like,
Yeah.
you can go two different ways, right? I could either be shuffling toward this museum, beating myself up for buying the wrong size, always getting it wrong, screwing things up, running late, or I can be laughing at myself
Yeah.
at how ridiculous this is. Of course I've done this to myself. Of
Yeah.
course I would have a thong up my ass the first time I am going to this like really nice thing. This is the first time since like the last 3 years that I've gone to something this nice.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm having a massive wardrobe problem.
Yeah.
But so this is not all. So as I'm sitting at the luncheon and I'm trying to squeeze my butt together, it's like a butt exercise so that the thing doesn't adjust back to snapping back to the normal size. It is slowly starting to itch up again.
Oh no!
Yeah.
While you're sitting this
Yes.
time?
And so as
Uh-oh.
we walk back to the parking garage, I'm with a friend, one of my closest friends, Lisa. And I am just like, she's just like, stop picking at that wedgie. Stop picking at that wedgie.
Can't stop.
Just unsnap
Your
the damn thing.
hands
And I'm like, I
smell.
can't unsnap the thing. First of all,
Smell.
I can't unsnap it because I'm in a public space.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
trying to unsnap a bodysuit in a discreet way is next to impossible.
No.
And so my only choice is to try to pick at it. And so we get down to the parking garage. Thank God no one was around.
In the parking lot level.
Yeah. It's it's a busy parking garage. Lisa's right there. We go to her car first, so I don't have to walk that far, and then she drives me to my car so that I don't have to keep dealing with this. I get out of the thing and I open up my car door and step behind it. I mean, I do have
Good,
some
good.
decorum. I'm not
Yeah.
going to like drop my
Yeah.
pants, and make Lisa watch this. So I literally unsnap it.
Whoa.
It rolls up like a window shade.
Question: are your pants still down? Are you able to do this with your pants?
Oh
Like,
no, I have to
around-
take my pants like down.
They're down. Okay.
And I have to
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
squat
So now
and do
you're-
the yank
Yeah.
down again. I
You're getting
unsnap
a
it.
full breeze now.
Okay.
Oh my God. If you think taking a bra off or a pair of bike shorts off
Yeah.
for you gentlemen out there feels liberating, try unsnapping a thong bodysuit that's too small, that has been slowly constricting your circulation for 2 hours
Oh my God.
while you ate poached salmon and asparagus.
Right.
I just wanted to stand there for a minute with my
Yeah.
legs shoulder width apart. Just
Yes.
I just
It's expansion from all sides. It's not just the bra.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like that is the definition of let loose.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You let it all loose.
And sure enough, just as I suspected, it rolls up. I button my pants back up. I step out from the side of the door. I shut the door. Lisa is laughing hysterically because now, of course, I have the front part hanging down in front and the back part like a tail. And she's laughing and I'm laughing and I'm like, you got to take a picture of this. You got to take a picture of this, dude. Like, this
great.
is hilarious. I
Yeah.
got to remember this. And so she goes, well, I got to back the car up so I can get a good angle. And I'm like, okay. So she starts backing the car up. I can't make this up. And she freaking hits a parking pylon.
Oh,
She just about has a heart attack. Luckily, it was
God.
plastic and not a concrete one. So now I'm doubled over laughing with the unsnapped bodysuit hanging out of my pants. And I'm like, what should I do? What should I do? And she's like, just step over there and strike a pose. So I kind of put my arm up on my head. I look like this exasperated freedom look. She snaps a photo. And when we look at it, we cannot believe it. I got to show you guys this.
Sorry.
You cannot believe this photo. Let me just show you this. Holy guacamole. I want you to look at the sign that is above me and read it to whatever. Read it
God.
to everybody.
Caution, dead end.
And it's in black and white and yellow. And my sweater is
perfectly.
a yellow, black, and white striped bumblebee sweater.
Yeah.
This looks like some art director
It's perfectly curated
Yeah.
the way you did it.
curated
Yeah.
the photo.
The
This
angles,
itself
the
is a
depth.
work of art.
It
people.
is. The
Yeah.
palette, the pose.
Really?
Yeah.
With the nude skimwear too.
Yeah.
Blends
But
right
I
in.
love that it's all about humor. It's
Yes.
not like,
Yeah.
we created this awesome
Yeah.
moment together that was it was just fun through and through. And when you look at that, you think of Lisa, you think of laughing, right? Like
I think
you
of
just,
women in art.
you think of,
I think
right.
of poached salmon.
Right.
I think of my friend Robin who invited me to this.
Yes.
I think
Aw.
about like my memorable moment in the bathroom, shuffling across. I think about shuffling across the harbor in the seaport. Like I
Yes.
just like think of all of it,
Right.
and I also just laugh.
Yeah.
And I will remember this moment for the rest of my life because of the humor.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right? Turning something embarrassing and somewhat painful into something hilarious and relatable shifted everything about it. And I wanted to share this story. And by the way, we will share the photo with you. If you're watching on YouTube, congratulations, because you've already seen it. If you are listening to this, just look in the show notes and we will link to this photo. But we tape all of our podcast episodes. We put up longer, unedited, unabridged kind of versions of it, behind the scenes stuff, if you ever want to check that out. But I mean, it's just so funny. And it kind of brings me full circle to this idea of how do you develop a sense of humor? Because just like I had to like unsnap the hold that the
Yeah.
bodysuit had,
Yeah.
and it created so much freedom for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
When you unsnap the judgment and the seriousness and the gotta be perfect and act like a robot mentality that so many of us have,
Yeah.
you're missing out on one of the greatest joys in life, which is learning how to laugh at yourself. Like,
Yeah,
it's one thing
true.
to not give a shit about what other people think. And we, for those of you interested, we did an incredible podcast about the art of not giving a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hugely popular. You can check that out. We'll link it to the show notes. But this is about something else. It's about allowing yourself the freedom to be human and learning how to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
And
And-
Amy, I want to bring you into this because you are a stand-up comic. You do improv.
Yeah.
You actually perform on stages.
Yeah, at a amateur level, but yeah, because becoming someone who looks at the world in a funny way is not just something that you're born with. You can really get funnier, and you can develop a sense of humor beyond anything that you think that you have right now. And I think it's worthwhile.
Oh, I do too. Like, I think, like, if you unpack that story, which it's like pretty funny,
Yeah,
but I think it's funny because it's relatable.
Yes.
yeah,
And it's also funny because it's the things that we don't talk about. And I think when you make fun of yourself, you allow people to bond with you over the shit that's relatable in life.
We
yeah.
all do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that that's a piece of it. Like, if I had to give any advice about it, because this is something that I've been working on because I've always been so hard at myself, and learning how to laugh at yourself, not in like a condescending, like, oh, but more like, that's fucking funny.
Yeah.
That's funny that I just constantly do whatever it is that I do.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
and it allows other people in. And I think that's the thing that people miss.
Yes. Well, that's the thing that I admire most about you. And I think that's the thing that stood out to me the most in this story is that you don't keep it to yourself and just say, oh gosh,
Right.
I'm
Right.
this is really funny. I can't believe this is happening. You do not do things in a whisper. You do them out loud and let everybody in. I can just imagine all the women at your table and you're saying, like, guys, anybody else have a thong problem right now? Because and then people are not thinking about their own insecurities or judgments or what's happening to them in that moment. They're thinking about your stuff and laughing about it. To share laughter like that, especially with people you don't know or just getting to know, I mean, what a gift that is.
And it goes like social media. Like, you posted it.
Oh, of course.
Other
Yes.
people would be like, oh God, I can only show the pretty
course.
pictures where I'm all done up. No one's going to know that I've got a massive thumb. I'm not going to talk about it. But Mel's like, no, here's my art outfit with a wedgie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With it hanging out.
Yes. And that's also why I post the ridiculous photos of myself where I'm just in real life kind of hideous because I laugh at myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
And we
and
all look
and,
like
and
that.
here's the other thing that I just got. That the metaphor for not allowing yourself to laugh and not sharing that with other people is your whole life becomes like you're wearing a bodysuit that's too small. It constricts you, it suffocates you, it cuts off your life force and your circulation. And that there's something available to you when you lighten up. And we did do a little bit of research very quickly. I will link to the studies, but just the things that I jotted down are really important. Like, first of all, people respect leaders that are funny more than people who aren't.
Yeah.
And the research shows that a sense of humor, when we meet somebody with a sense of humor, we believe that somebody with a sense of humor, I'm not talking about an inappropriate one, an appropriate sense of humor, we believe they're confident. We believe they're more powerful. We immediately raise up their status. We think they're intelligent. And they tend to be somebody we like more because there is this like bond that gets created between somebody that cracks jokes, makes fun of themselves, makes fun of a situation that feels relatable and true. It's like letting you in on something personal.
Yeah.
Trust.
And here's another thing. When it comes to work, this is really interesting. 98% of executives, according to one study, said they would prefer an employee with a sense of humor.
Wow.
And 84% of those same leaders believe that people with a sense of humor do better work.
Wow. Those are high numbers.
High numbers. And I think it goes beyond that class clown thing.
Yes.
Like somebody that's just funny is really likable, and that funny is cute, and funny makes time pass, and funny,
It's like attention,
yeah,
but it's
funny begs attention.
Yeah.
For sure. It's funny is a power. It's a superpower that you can have.
Yeah.
It creates a dynamic that two people or many people join in on that really changes your perspective of the world, which I think is fascinating. And I love it. I love how you could have just had this wedgie and felt really angry with yourself.
And thrown the skims out.
Oh
in a
my God.
trash
And it
can
just
in the,
could have ended
parking
there.
lot.
But instead, we all get to laugh at it. You're laughing at the table with all the ladies. We're laughing about it now. And it's brightening my day, and it's making my mood a little bit better. And it's a gift. It really is a gift.
Well, I think that's the invitation to you listening is as you go through your day to day, something embarrassing or funny is probably going to happen. Just notice it, and then notice whether or not you're laughing at yourself or you're laughing at other people. It could be as something like, what happens to me all the time? I spill on myself all the time. All the time. And when I do, I don't change my shirt or my pants. I just make a joke of it. Why? Because it's funny.
Yeah.
We can all relate to it. And so there is an invitation here, whether it's a wardrobe failure or it's something that you do at work today that's super embarrassing, or it's the fact that you're talking to your kid's teacher and all of a sudden you belch in the middle of the sentence and then you both burst out laughing. Or what about the time that I farted at work? And I thought Jessie
such a great day.
was going to lose her mind. I promised 3 tools. Tool number 1 is a framework. You're starting to realize Mel Robbins, she loves her frameworks, and here's why. I think advice is boring and intellectual. And so I like to have metaphors and frameworks because it helps me to truly, make it stick. So here's one of my favorite frameworks for friendship. You've probably heard it. There are 3 types of friendships. And this helps you be really flexible in your friendships. It also helps you to remind yourself of the truth, okay? So here are the 3 types of friendships. You ready? And this framework is there are friends for a reason, there are friends for a season, and there are friends for a lifetime. That's it. And if you think about people coming and going in and out of your friendship zone in a flexible way, because they're either there for a reason, or they're there for a season, or they're there for a lifetime, you now no longer are gripping. You can be flexible. You can assume people like you. You can stop holding on to the wrong people and trying to force somebody who's just there for a reason to try to be a lifetime friend. This is such a helpful framework. Let me explain it. So these people are in your life for a reason. These would be work friends. You see them all the time because you work together. They might be the parents of other kids that are on your kids' sports team, or they might be people that are on your team, right? That you're playing sports with. They're there for a reason. They might be your neighbors. They're there for a reason. These are great friends to have. They're there for a certain period of time. They're there to teach you something. They're there to support you on a leg of the journey called life. These are awesome friends. But don't grip onto them. Be flexible with them. Let them come in and out of your life. Love them up. Enjoy them while they're there with you. And then at some point, when you no longer have that reason to have those friends in your life, they sort of fade a little bit. They're still your friends. I guarantee you 10 years later, if you were good friends with your neighbor, they would certainly help you out. So would your friends at work. This is why flexible friendship is such an awesome concept. Now let's talk about a season. So these are folks that are there typically a little bit longer. They're there for a chapter, a season. So they might be the people that you met in college. And you were really, really close friends during college. And you were really, maybe you roomed together after college. But then people start peeling off. They start heading in different directions. They maybe move away to different cities or they get married. And so these are close friends for a certain season of your life. And, I find that I had a lot of really good friends that I was friends with when I was a young mom. That was a really amazing season in my life. I will cherish that season of my life. I had so many close female friends because we were all doing life in the same season at the same time. And when that season ended And my kids went to middle school, and then they scattered even further in high school. And then all of a sudden the bomb drops on everything when they go off to college, and you don't, like, that season of my life was over. In fact, it had been over for a long time. And so seasons are a beautiful thing. And I'm in a new season of my life. I'm beginning a new season here in Southern Vermont. And I bet you're beginning a new season. So many of us had a reckoning with ourselves about what really mattered during COVID. And it's why so many of you made major changes like my husband and I did. And it's why those of you that haven't are probably thinking about major changes, because you haven't truly accepted the things that you were processing around COVID and the changes that you would like to make. And so friends for a season are amazing, absolutely amazing. Just love them. And when the season changes, be flexible, because a new season is beginning, which means a new seasons of friends are going to emerge. And lifetime friends, those are those 4 a.m. friends we talked about. And remember, you're doing pretty dynamite if you can think of that one person that you could just pick up the phone at 4 o'clock in the morning and call. And you know that they would pick up and just chat with you just because you wanted to talk to a friend. So, tool number 1, use that framework to enforce this flexibility. Reason, season, and lifetime. Don't force people into the wrong category. You know, this is a big one. Please stop being mad at people for not being who you want them to be right now. Sometimes some of the most generous and beautiful and loving things that you can do for people is to graciously let them go and let them grow and let them be who they need to be in this season of their lives. Now let's move on to tool number 2, which you are probably going to hate, and that is you need to take action. That's going to require you to step out of the comfort zone of your couch and the comfiness of a Friday night alone, binge watching TV, and push yourself to get out of your comfort zone and make the effort to make friends. And this effort part's really important. There was this enormous study done at the University of Kansas, and this was mind-blowing to me. And I found it to be, again, another very helpful framework, because I think, you know, you're not a dummy, and neither am I. I know that if I sit alone in my house, it's not like friends are going to come calling and I'm going to suddenly have strangers show up that are going to become my new friends in this season of my life. I know I need to get out of the house. You know you need to make the effort, but we're not. And frameworks and research help me go, oh, this actually is a big deal. Oh, if I do want to change this and I want to stop feeling so lonely and I want to stop swimming in the toilet of comparison and dislike and insecurity, I got to climb out of the toilet. That makes a lot of sense. But this research from University of Kansas kind of blew my mind, because it puts friendship into a timeline and hours perspective. Making friends, check this out. They studied how many hours it takes to make a quote friend. And this is fascinating. That as a student, it's very different than what it's like to make friends as an adult. This is why it can feel hard, because most of our lives, we were in seasons where we were forced to be in groups. Like, think about how you're in a group in elementary school and that's how you meet your friends. And then you're in a group in middle school and that's how you meet your friends. And then you're in a group in high school and that's how you meet your friends. And then you're in a group in college and that's how you meet your friends. And then all of a sudden your 20s hits and boom, everybody scatters. And you're like, where the hell did my friends go? In fact, I did a interview with Alex Cooper, who hosts Call Her Daddy. The episode is called, Where Did All My Friends Go? And we focused on this phenomenon in your 20s, where you feel like you don't have any friends anymore. And the reason why is because for the first 25 years of your life, your friendships were basically handed to you because you were in settings with large groups of people moving at the same pace through life together. And as soon as you graduate, you're on your own, baby. It's a whole big world out there. And if you think it's hard in your 20s, wait till your 30s, 40s, and 50s. And now you have the tools, so we don't need to freak you out. But this is normal. And we require effort. And this University of Kansas study explains this. So if you're in college and you're like swimming in the sea with all these people doing the same thing at the same time, it takes you about 43 hours to become an acquaintance with somebody. Now, you're sitting in class together. That's part of the time. You're eating in the cafeteria together. That's part of the time. You're hanging out in the dorm room together. That's part of the time. When you're an adult, to become a casual friend, it takes you 94 hours. Why? Because your patterns are very different when you're an adult. You don't have as much overlap. It's why you tend to become friends as an adult with people you work with because you spend more time with them. It's why you're friends with people that you live near because you spend time with them. This is not just common sense, it's researched. And in order to go from just a casual friend to a really good friend, if you're a student, it takes about 57 hours, which makes sense because you're spending more time together. So you're sharing more experiences together. For adults, we need about 164 hours. That's so sad. This is why it's so important for you to have this perspective and for you to understand it's going to require effort on your part. And that's okay. Knowing that everybody feels this way, knowing that everybody's at their homes alone under the fuzzy blanket on the couch, feeling like a peach that nobody likes, swimming in the toilet of comparison, feeling like friendship is so hard. Knowing that, I hope is helping you go, oh, well, maybe I could be the one. Maybe I could get all the peaches together and we could make a pie or some jam or some cobbler. That's what I did this weekend. I'm going to tell you a quick story because I think it's really important. So here I am. I always say, please come visit me. I live alone on a mountain in Vermont. I'm lonely. But the truth is, I've met a bunch of really cool people up here. And every one of us say the same thing. It's amazing living here. And I really want to meet some friends. I really want to get together with people. I want to stop saying, let's get together and not make plans. And so I'll tell you a quick story because all it takes is leaning toward your curiosity. That's all it takes. I walk this loop all the time. That's right by my house. It's a beautiful loop. It's about 4.5 miles. And I love flowers. I know there's 5 love languages. I have a 6th. Flowers, flowers, flowers. I'm like a psycho about flowers. They remind me of my parents. I love growing them. I love bringing them into the house. I just love flowers. And so this year, I've been walking this loop for 26 years. When I would visit my in-laws before we bought their house, and now it's our own. And all of a sudden this year, there was this insane flower farm that popped up. And by flower farm, I mean this patch of flowers, like an acre big. And in the spring, it was this row of gorgeous double peony tulips and French tulips and parrot tulips. And I would do this walk and I'd stop and I'd take photos, and you've probably seen them on my Instagram stories. And then as those came and went, then ranuncula came up, and it was this like triple petal ranunculus and peonies. And I'm like, oh, it's like flower porn for me. And then now there's these field of dahlias. Like dahlias are mind blowing, just gorgeous flowers. And there was never anybody there, ever. There was no sign, no nothing. And I became obsessed, you guys, with stopping by this flower patch. Just drawn to it like a moth to a flame. Oh my God, I just loved it. I would like Sound of Music with the flower patch, and I'm taking flowers, and now I feel like an influencer that's 20 years old, and I need a cowboy hat with a feather in it so that I can do the festival photos that everybody does. And I just flower porn all day long. And all of a sudden I see a truck parked there one day. And the truck, thankfully, had a contractor's label on it. And lo and behold, that same label was on a truck here at our house because we're under construction. So I walked over to and I'm like, hey, do you know this flower field? And he goes, yeah, I park my car there every once in a while. I'm like, do you know who the person is? He's like, yeah, that's Annette from Fleur Farm. I'm like, what? And I think she's on Instagram. I'm like, what? So I DM her. Oh my God, I've seen the flower. Blah, blah, blah. And then she DMs back. Oh my gosh, really? It's a labor of love. It's a hobby. A hobby? Yeah, I work full time. And I've been really worried about like how I'm going to get all the dahlia bulbs out. And I'm like, well, I'll help you. You'll help me? And so next thing you know, just by following the energy, following the connection, leaning into this season of my life, leaning into the curiosity, I DM her. She DMs back. I come to find out that she has been planting flowers in this new season of her life. She sells bulbs online. She is going through some stuff personally. And I'm like, well, I know some other women. I'll get these other women that I know to come and hang out with us. And I'll see if we can't like make something happen. And so we get 13 women to show up at the flower field on Saturday. I didn't know any of these women. And I knew some of them. I knew the ones that I invited. And then the friends that I invited invite other friends. And it was this army of new women here in southern Vermont that showed up to help another woman dig dahlias out of a field on a Saturday. And she and I have been texting ever since. So I met all these new people. We connected over something we're interested in. We now have a group chat called the Dynamite Dahlia Dames. And so Annette and I are texting. Wait to hear this. When we both showed up, she said to everybody, I'm so overwhelmed because I'm so alone and introverted. I never think anybody would help. I have trouble asking for help. And so as we're texting, she writes, I'm so grateful for everyone's kindness and presence and the joy there was in the field this morning. It's been a hard and a lonely path thus far, building a vision shovel by shovel, digging my way to a new life. Boy, I relate to that. I really relate to that. And then suddenly, out come all these fabulous women. Yes, I'm very, very happy because that morning was my highlight of my week too. So the challenge now is leaning in again and setting a date again and moving the ball down the field. Because as we know from that University of Kansas study, that it takes time and it takes effort. And we all need each other to be making the effort. And so the final tool that I'm going to give you is something that is so simple and so impactful. And I have so many friends that now do this that I'm stealing this from. And it's very simple. Every single day, make it a habit to text a friend. Just out of the blue. And if you want to amplify this, take a selfie video. Hey, I'm just on my walk and I was thinking of you. And hey, my dog says hello. And you not only underestimate how much people like you, you underestimate how much it means to somebody when they hear from you. This isn't just me. This is research that was covered in the New York Times recently about how receiving an unexpected text from a friend makes you immediately feel connected to that person, and it makes the friendship stronger. Make it a practice every single day as you start your day to reach out to one friend with a random message. In fact, I want to share one with you. So I love my friend Glo Antonimo, and she's an incredible author and podcaster and just puts out incredible content and motivational speaker, and I learned so much from her. And she is so great about this. I want you to listen to this random message that popped in my phone literally a month ago. There was her beautiful face just sending me a video message, and I'm going to play it for you because I want you to listen to it as if she's sending this to you.
Mel, hello. It has been almost a month since our last video message. I was reading one of my daily devotional type books, and I thought of this, and I'm like, who can I send this to? And you came to my heart, so I'm going to read it out loud. You are human. You will make mistakes. Hopefully, you'll make a whole lot of them because that means you are trying. And trying means you are fully alive. It also makes life a hell of a lot more interesting. So here's to making more mistakes. Here's to living. And here's to appreciating the ebbs and flow of life. You know, it's hard for us to like maintain equilibrium. Like we try to go through life chasing and seeking comfort and just staying happy and staying positive. But sometimes in those moments and in those seasons and those valleys of depression or sadness, you know, we're meant to get something from that. And then when we come out of it, it's like we have so much more appreciation. So no need to respond. Just wanted to bless you with this message. Thinking of you, sending you love. High five.
That just like makes you feel good. And so here's what I want to tell you. I want to tell you, I love you. I believe in you. And I believe in your ability to stop telling yourself these lies and to really embrace the truth. The truth is you deserve amazing friendships. You need amazing friendships. And you are that amazing friend that somebody who is going through a very lonely season, digging their way to a new life, needs desperately right now?
Mel, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being your authentic self right there in front of us, changing lives. And you truly are amazing. And I really want you to know that. I was wondering today if you could talk about inner peace and the difference between that as opposed to material possessions, money, status, job titles, you name it. And instead, the feeling of happiness within yourself to be comfortable with. Thank you, Mel.
Oh, Steve, first of all, thank you for saying such kind and heartfelt things about how I'm showing up. I really, really appreciate it. Makes me feel warm. Second, this question about happiness with yourself, inner peace, as opposed to chasing those material possessions, job titles, this is really front and center in my life right now. And so I've been thinking a lot about this person and what he means to me, the person that he was, how he made me feel as a friend. You know, at the end of the day, that's what truly matters, right? I mean, you're never going to see a hearse limo pulling a U-Haul to a graveyard because we can't take all that shit that we've been chasing down in life with us. And it truly doesn't matter. What matters is how you feel about yourself, the kind of person that you are, and what we know based on the research is the quality of the relationships that you have. And the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. I say it over and over and over again. And that is very closely tied to inner peace. Because if you're beating the hell out of yourself, if your dialogue about yourself is super negative, that's not going to make you happy. And inner peace, the term that you used, it is defined as feeling content and secure. Dr. Daniel Gilbert, who is a professor at Harvard, he did this huge study that close to half of our waking moments are spent thinking about something other than what we are doing in the moment. And so when you talk about inner peace, study after study shows that a wandering mind, thinking ahead, worrying about what's next, I'll be happy when this happens, not being present, that a wandering mind is deeply connected to unhappiness. Because if you're always wandering ahead or worried about what's next or chasing down something that hasn't happened, I'll be happy when, you're never actually in your life. A wandering mind is the opposite of inner peace. And when your mind wanders, and look, you are able to think ahead. You're able to look back. It's one of the amazing things about being human. But when you live in a state where you're never present, you rob yourself of the extraordinary, ordinary moments in life. That inner peace, that contentment, that security, that you're okay, that you're aware of what's happening, that you're present to it. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Research shows that the amount of time that you think you have left to live, it shapes your priorities now. And if you think you have a ton of time, you're often thinking about the future, but you're not in the present right now. Yet, research shows that the nearer you get to the end of your life, the more you begin to appreciate the presence, which is why, despite the fact that most of us, say, oh, old people are grumpy, that's actually not true. That's a myth. Research shows that people are their happiest in the later years of their lives. Why? Because older people, everyone over 70, they're much more likely to be present and not worry about the bullshit that you and I wrap ourselves around the axle about. They're more present in the moment to just be happy with the extraordinary, ordinary aspects of life. I was just with my parents. It's so funny because they're in their 70s, and I noticed their life is very simple. They get up, they go for a walk, they see their friends for breakfast, they play golf, they play mahjong, they read a book, they watch the sunset, they go to a friend's house. They're in the moment. They don't need some big thing to chase. They're just in the moment, enjoying the feeling of living. I want to say that again. Part of inner peace and being present and being alert in your day-to-day life is the feeling of actually living. It means you're no longer an autopilot. You're able to pay attention to what's in front of you. And the real superpower is being able to do that no matter how old you are. Mindfulness just means connecting with the present moment. Inner peace is just about being present. So how can you bring this into your life? There are 2 ways I'm going to suggest that you do this, okay? Number 1, when you are around other people, actually listen to them. I didn't say hear them. I said listen to them. There's a big difference between hearing what somebody says and listening to them. Listening to someone is when you actively give the other person the experience that you are present. And your attention is the most basic form of love that you could give somebody else. And practice listening and being present and making somebody feel like you are right there with them, nodding your head, being in the moment. It is an act of love, and it is a way to cultivate mindfulness and to cultivate that warm connection. The second way that you can tap into this is that when you're doing a task, just something in your ordinary life, hyper focus on it. I call this moving meditation. And I'll give you 2 examples. Number 1, I love to eat nuts, okay? Little confession. I like the blistered peanuts, salted, from Trader Joe's. And I love myself some smoked almonds. So I'll grab a handful of those. And one way that I practice being present and mindful is I eat them one at a time. And I try to notice the difference in taste between one nut and another. And it's pretty surprising. Like, you eat a handful of nuts, you don't really taste a big difference of anything. You eat them one at a time, it's amazing how it pulls you into the moment. The second thing that you can do is I love having a flower right at the kitchen sink because I love flowers and it pulls me right in, and I will stare at that flower and be in the present moment. A third way that I practice this inner peace, I practice this eudaimonic type of happiness in my day-to-day life, is savoring the moments. So last night, I taught Oakley, our son, how to make his absolute favorite recipe, which is from the cookbook 6 Seasons that my mom bought me, and it is called beef with lots and lots and lots of onions. It is the easiest thing on the planet to make. You take a hunk of beef, you brown it, you throw some garlic in, you throw some thyme in, you throw a little butter, little wine in, and lots and lots and lots and lots of onions. That's it. And then you bake that sucker at 300 for like 5 hours. And the whole thing melts into this soupy, messy, amazing goop where the onions disintegrate. And it's like shredded beef and a French onion such and such. And we just had so much fun. I was so in it when we were cooking. And because I was in the moment, I wasn't wandering ahead. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I was with him. I was happy. And so let's go back to our metaphor. Being in the present moment is a lot like walking on the beach. Whether it's a stormy day or the ocean is still, whether it's raining or the sun is rising or the sun is setting, or there are amazing waves that you want to surf. When you're walking on the beach, a great walk is one where you are fully present. You feel the sand between your toes, the wind in your hair, the salt on your skin. You're staring at the ocean and gazing at the beauty, no matter what kind of day it is. You're not thinking ahead. You're not reflecting on the past. You're just in the moment, happy. That's what happiness is. And so when you are thinking about happiness, always come back to this metaphor because it embodies 84 years of research and studies around the world. The waves remind you to have fun. Get off that blanket of yours, grab your friends, and jump in the waves and play. The big still ocean, swimming, floating, it reminds you to get into the deep end, and it's way more fun in there if you're floating around with your friends. Nothing like a warm day. You want those warm relationships. Spend more time with them. Invite them to the beach with you. That's who you want on the sand, on the towels, in the water with you. The people that make you feel warm. And finally, walking on the beach, being present, being in the moment, constantly coming back to these 3 fundamental things. And the fact is, you never know how much time you have. You just don't. So now more than ever, I just want you to not only appreciate the moment, I want you to take these small steps to truly enjoy the moment and be happier in your life. Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed that video, by God, please subscribe because I don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you so much for being here. We've got so much amazing stuff coming. Thank you so much for sending this stuff to your friends and your family. I love you. We create these videos for you. So make sure you subscribe. Mwah.